Welcome to week 2 of the regular season for the Pioneer Sideline. We have another jam-packed week. We had both men and women's soccer teams playing conference games. We had volleyball in action. So join me as we head on down to the Pioneer Sideline. Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Kyle Anthony. The women's soccer team looked to show everyone what they were made of this week when they faced some good teams. I'm joined by a new face to the sideline, Cy Banks, to tell us how the team did this past week. So, Cy, tell us how they did.
Thank you, Kyle. The Point Park women's soccer team came up short this weekend against the two, NAI-ranked teams from Michigan. This past Saturday, they played in Adrian, Michigan against the number 18th ranked Siena Heights. The Pioneers battled a tough game, and very unfortunately, they lost 2-0. Now they have to begin with a 3-2 1-2 KIAC so far in the season. This was a game that had all favors for the Saints to win, but the Pioneers, I believe, could have pulled it out, at least a win or a tie. The girls were not on their game based on previous games they played in the past. There was no time to rest for the team because they had another fight against the number 8th ranked team from Spring Arbor, Michigan on Monday, the 21st. Blood, sweat, and tears and never giving up was shown yesterday as the Pioneers played their last game in Michigan. Pioneers lost 6-0 against Spring Arbor, and the girls' soccer team has shown a lot of heart, and for them losing this game, I don't think that they are out of it. I feel that these past games will give them the motivation for the next game that is at noon, the 26th at Geneva. Our girls' team is predicted to beat Geneva. They played them last year, and after these two losses this past weekend, they're back in to win it, and there's no holds bar for them. After the Geneva game, they'll be bringing it back home, and they'll be playing Brisca.
Now, Cy, what have we learned about the team?
Well, I've learned about the team that they have heart to the max. Yes, they came off of these two losses, but you have to realize also, Kyle, is that they were outshot by the number 18th ranked team, 17-6. Okay, but you have to realize also is that they are number 18 ranked, and for the girls to pull it out, that was awesome. And you know, it kind of sucks in the long run in the base that they couldn't pull it together for the number 8, but like I said, they should have had more rest for it.
Now, how does playing good teams help them?
I think it prepares them for the long run, because if you can go out and go against the number 18th ranked and a 25th ranked in their past games, it just shows right there that they can pull out anything and only losing by 2, which means I see very high prospects that they will be making it to playoffs and even further.
Thanks, Cy. The Point Park men's soccer team was gearing up for a big-time showdown with a top team in the country this week. So I'm joined by Blaine King for more about this showdown.
Thanks, Kyle. Coming off their 2-1 victory over Penn State Beaver, the men's soccer team looked to continue the winning as they traveled to Rio Grande for their first KIAC matchup of the year. Rio Grande, who is ranked 5th in the NAIA national polls, have a competitive history against Point Park. The last time these two teams met was last year in the KIAC championship. Rio Grande got the last laugh in that one as they defeated the Pioneers 3-2. Point Park looked to get revenge this time around. Rio did strike first with a goal in the 29th minute of play. The score going to halftime remained 1-0 in favor of Rio. In the second half, the Red Storm went for the dagger as they shut down the Pioneers and scored 3 more goals of their own in the 64th, 78th, and 86th minutes of play. The final score ended up being 4-0 in favor of the Red Storm. Point Park goalie Zach Borzavoy had a season-high 14 saves, but that was the only bright spot for the Pioneers as they were outshot 36-7. The game also had its share of intense moments as 8 yellow cards were given out throughout the game, 2 of which was for Pioneers midfielder Christian Mika, who was ejected early in the second half for receiving his second yellow card of the game. Point Park currently holds a 4-3-1 record with a 0-1 record, in the KIAC. The Pioneers' next game is at home against Grove City.
Blaine, very simple question. What happened to this team versus Rio?
Well, Kyle, usually we see the Pioneers play competitive games against Rio Grande, and this time around, Rio Grande, honestly, they took over the game. Every phase of the game, they beat Point Park in, and honestly, Point Park just had no answer for Rio.
Now, Blaine, why is this team having trouble scoring? Because the past few years, this team has been able to score goals when they had to.
That is true, and it could be that they lost Lucas Silva last year. Lucas Silva was a big goal scorer for this team, and without him returning, they have to look for that new scorer. Honestly, as of right now, they might just have to rely on defense and Zach Boisavoy in goal to just kind of keep things under control, and hopefully the scoring will come.
Thanks, Blaine. When we return to the sideline, we will tell you how the volleyball team in the past week. Later on, Josh Krupp goes into the parking lots of Heinz Field for the Steeler edition of the Pioneer Sideline.
We are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
Start your morning with City News.
Start your morning with campus news.
Start your morning with political coverage.
Start your morning with fun.
Start your morning with us, only on Daybreak.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't stop. Don't get it confused.
Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
We know you're wondering what the A-list celebrities are up to.
Well, here at Entertainment on Point, we're wondering too.
Have you heard about James Franco and Seth Rogen's new movie?
No, but have you heard Beyonce's new single?
Did you see what she was wearing on that red carpet?
Honey, that was not cute.
Did you see what happened on Scandal this week?
No, I was too busy keeping up with the Kardashians. No matter what your guilty pleasure is, we've got you covered.
Entertainment on Point. Get to the point of pop culture.
Yeah!
Welcome back. The Point Park volleyball team is trying to get some wins so they can get their season back on track. So I'm going to lob it over to Mike Turk to tell us if they were able to get those wins.
Thanks, Kyle. This past week, the girls volleyball team played 4 matches and won all 4 by winning 12 sets and only dropping 2. Last Wednesday, they took on Carlow University at home, and they were able to get a 3-set sweep by the scores of 28-26, 25-17, and 25-21. Leading the way for the Pioneers was middle blocker Megan Branchick, posting a team high of 8 kills and a very, very impressive .364 hitting percentage. Also contributing to the Pioneers' victory were outside hitters Shiloh Simonson and Isabella Vavrick, recording 7 kills each. The Pioneers were able to clinch the match with a serving ace from the rocket-powered jump serve of Shiloh Simonson. After that win, the Pioneers took a road trip to New Albany, Indiana, and Cincinnati, Ohio, where the wins kept on coming. They played KIAC opponents Indiana University Southeast, Cincinnati Christian, and Brescia from Kentucky. The Pioneers were able to win all 3 matches by an accumulative match score of 9-2. After 4 consecutive KIAC matchups, the Pioneers are now sitting at a 4-1 record versus KIAC opponents, and now they are inching closer to being back over that 500 overall record with 7 and 11. All 7 of those wins have come in the last 10 matches. The Pioneers will now have about a 2-week break from play and will return to action on Friday, October 2nd at home for a doubleheader against 2 more KIAC opponents, Ohio Christian and Midway, Kentucky. The first match will be at 3 p.m. and the second match will be at 7 p.m. Both matches will be played in the Student Center.
Now, Mike, can 1 or 2 players carry this team?
Volleyball is not a 1 or 2 player type sport. You have to play as a team, 6 players on the court at once. That's how the game's won. You're as strong as your weakest link.
Now, how big was this weekend for the team?
It was a huge, huge motivation for them and just lifted their spirits. Now they're only 4 games under 500 with a chance to get back over.
Thanks, Mike. Now it's time to go to Paul Daniels for a look at this week in national sports headlines.
Thanks, Kyle. This past weekend, there were big stories that took place on the football field. We'll start with college football and the SEC showdown between 2 top 15 teams, Ole Miss and Alabama. The Rebels went on the road to Tuscaloosa and upset the formerly second-ranked team in the country by a score of 43-37. The turning point of the game, and maybe the highlight play of the weekend, was when Chad Kelly completed a 66-yard deflected touchdown pass to Quincy Abalubu. This would be that play that swung the momentum in the Rebels' favor and put Ole Miss over the top to complete the upset. Additionally, this would snap Alabama's 17-home game win streak, which was the longest active in the FBS. On to the pro side of football now, and if you weren't watching at home this weekend, well, you might have been one of the lucky ones because some awful football was played between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys in the so far dreadful NFC East. There was botched snaps, miscommunication, and 5 turnovers in total throughout the game. The Cowboys shut down the run game that was non-existent by the Eagles and held them to just 7 yards rushing on the day. In the midst of all this, a key injury took place for the Cowboys on offense. Tony Romo broke his left collarbone on a strip sack fumble by Jordan Hicks in the early part of the second half. This is the same left collarbone Romo broke earlier in his career back in 2010, and he's expected to be placed on IR and miss the next 8 weeks. Brandon Whedon will replace him as the starter during his timeout. Another star quarterback could possibly miss a lot of regular season as well, with Drew Brees and the 0-2 New Orleans Saints. Brees underwent an MRI on his rotator cuff Monday morning, and the positive news is it's not torn. However, it is substantially bruised, and they are waiting for a second opinion from the doctors on Brees' future. If Brees is a no-go this weekend, Luke McCown will take over the role under center.
Thanks, Paul. Coming up, held their home opener this past weekend. In this week's Regional Sports Report, I will give you the information you need to know. After that, find out what Yinzers say when we send Josh Krupp to Heinz Field.
Here at the Pioneers Sideline, we get freshmen involved as quickly as possible so they get the real-world experience on air and behind the scenes to set themselves apart in internships and potential jobs. Blaine, where is that video? I needed it in KeyPro like yesterday.
All right, I got you, Chris. But I had a quick question for you guys.
What do you mean the questions? It's always a question. It's always a... What? Where is he? Blaine!
Blaine! Blaine!
Freshman, you can't find any good ones anymore.
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the 2nd floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
An expression, a belief, a symbol, freedom to worship, an unspoken word. To express yourself means standing up for what you believe in. There's a freedom to worship, and freedom to live. To speak never saying a word, to love, to let your voice be heard. The light of your own path. For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
In regional news, we'll start off with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who currently have a record of 89-60. The Pirates are in second place in the NL Central standings and are 4 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals. This past week, the Pirates were 3-4 with 3 of their 4 losses coming against the Chicago Cubs, who are 2 games behind the Pirates in the NL Central standings in the wild card standings. The Pirates did end the week on a strong note, taking 2 of 3 off the LA Dodgers with 2 strong pitching performances from Garrett Cole and Francisco Liriano. The Pirates might have a bigger loss than just the Cubs series. They lost Jung-Ho Gong for the remainder of the season with a broken left leg and a torn MCL after he was taken out at second base from a slide from Chris Coughlin. Many people thought the slide was dirty, but after the game, Gong said it was clean. Now we'll go to the gridiron where 2-0 Pitt Panthers went to Iowa to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes in hopes of improving their record. Pitt found themselves down early in the second quarter, 10-0, till Nate Peterman threw a touchdown pass to tight end Scott Orendorf. But after the first half, Pitt was down 17-7. But by the end of the third quarter, Pitt and Iowa were tied after a field goal by Chris Blewett, and Pat Amaro returned a blocked punt. And going in the last minute of the game, it was tied 24-24. To Iowa led a 9-play, 31-yard drive to win the game with a 57-yard field goal by Marshall Kahn. Pitt's next game is at Virginia Tech on October 3rd. Now to the professional level, where the Pittsburgh Steelers look to even up their record versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Steelers got off to a fast start, and at halftime were up 29-3 after 2 Ben Roethlisberger touchdown passes and 2 D'Angelo Williams rushing touchdowns. The 49ers would score twice in the second half with touchdown catches by Torrey Smith and Anquan Bolden. The Steelers also scored twice more with another touchdown by D'Angelo Williams and a touchdown catch by Antonio Brown. The Steelers were helped by a defense that collected 5 sacks, with Stephon Tuitt leading the team with 1.5. The Steelers also got a strong showing out of Ryan Shazier, who had 15 tackles. The Steelers' next game is Sunday at the St. Louis Rams. With the Steelers season just getting underway, the Steelers faithful are still getting used to the new NFL season. We decided to take advantage of that and try and trick some of the fans before the home opener. We sent Josh Krupp into the parking lots of Heinz Field for a second installment of the Pioneer Sideline.
A big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 2 of the 2015 season, a 43-18 win over the San Francisco 49ers. But before the game, we took a camera into the parking lots of Heinz Field and interviewed some tailgaters, some die-hard fans, to find out how much they really know about their favorite team in the Steelers edition of Pioneer Sideline.
Let's go, Steelers!
Did you believe the rumors that the Patriots were paying off the referees last week?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anything with them, I wouldn't put past them. I don't know.
Yes, every time. They're horrible. They're cheaters. Plain and simple.
When Serena Williams lost the Grand Slam, I blamed it on New England.
What do you think of the Steelers' decision to bring in an undrafted rookie to back up Roethlisberger and Vic and Kyle Anthony?
Well, I mean, if he can do the job, but they're not going to take Big Ben's job. This is Big Ben's house.
Better than Landry Jones.
Were you impressed with Kyle Anthony's performance?
No, I really wasn't.
What about his performance upset you? So Kyle Anthony, you haven't been impressed by his play?
He's okay. Tree Archer's a lot better. He just looked like he wasn't giving himself the 100% that he should have.
Is Kyle Anthony going to be able to help the offensive line at all?
Yeah, big and strong. And Ohio State always run the ball over there, so he already knows that he can get in there, he can run 4 quarters, so we ain't worried about him.
Was it a little too far for other teams to play Who Let the Dogs Out whenever they introduced Michael Vick?
No, I'd actually probably dance with them all, because that's the greatest song in the world. Who Let the Dogs Out? Ho, ho, ho.
You know what? He paid his time. He did it. He is a great. He is awesome. Honestly.
Are you going to vote in the commissioner election?
Let the fans vote. That way you can get it from every city and you can see what we really like. We're going to get somebody that's in there that we respect, that knows the game, and that played the game and know it ain't nobody trying to cheat.
So you would say that Roger Goodell leaving last week was a good idea then?
Yes, definitely. Because I still believe in discipline. When you give a discipline or consequence, you don't take it away.
Well, yeah, what am I going to do to register for that?
It's online.
Oh, then yes.
It's very simple. Easier than voting for president.
Yeah, right. If I can do it online, yeah, way easier.
Is the Verizon selfie stick a good idea for the NFL on the sidelines this year?
Heck yes. Heck yes. I would do it.
I think it's a bad idea. You're there to do your job. I don't have a selfie stick at my job for doing a good job.
Selfie sticks. This is going to change the game. All you're going to see is selfie sticks left and right. It's getting crazy nowadays.
I personally thought I played better than Drew Archer, but anyways, the Crimson Tide of Alabama lost to Ole Miss for a second consecutive season. We'll discuss a loss with our Pioneer reporters right after the break.
If you're having trouble with your schoolwork this semester, there's a helpful place on campus that you should know about. On the 7th floor of Lawrence Hall is the Program for Academic Success, which provides services like tutoring and academic counseling. The program's Writing Center is specifically designed to help you with your writing assignments, and you can even get help for them online. Students are encouraged to stop in the office, give a call, or send an email.
Every human being has a purpose, has a dream to have their voices heard, no matter where they come from, no matter where they go. As an American, it is their right to have freedom of speech. I have a dream that one day this message will speak louder than words, that even the quietest voice will not go unnoticed. That is my dream. What is yours? For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Welcome back to the Sideline. I'm joined once again by Blaine King, Cy Banks, and Mike Turk for another round of the Pioneers Reporters. Let's get started. Guys, how good are the LSU Tigers?
I'm going to be honest with you right here. It's LSU. They've always been like that dynasty. But at the same time, I hate LSU because I'm a USC fan. Ooh. So to me, I ain't a fan. But I just don't think they're that good. It's whatever.
They're as good as their running back is. When your running back is averaging 12 yards per carry in a game, you're good. That's a good team right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's 12 yards, but at the same time, it's LSU. They're going to choke. They always choke.
I'm pretty actually shocked about LSU. They're kind of a team out of the blue that just popped up, and they may be that Ohio State team this year. Who knows?
Blaine, stop where you're talking. LSU's not that good. Yes, this is the best defensive line they had in years.
I said maybe.
And they do have a really good running back with Leonard Fournette. They still have the typical Les Miles problem. They have no quarterback. Oh, yeah, and their secondary is not as good as they've been in the past. I'm sorry. LSU's not that good. They just played a bad Auburn team. Now, is Ole Miss really good, or is Alabama just, again, overhyped?
Both. Ole Miss was pretty good last year, and they just seem to improve this year. Alabama, on the other hand, they got some quarterback issues.
Whoa, wait. Timeout, Blaine. I'm going to have to get you on that one. See, it's Alabama. They're always going to be that dynasty. It's the rolling tide. What do you expect from them? Even though they had a little slip-up, so do the Steelers. What more could we ask for?
Again, they're overhyped.
I don't know. Ole Miss, kudos to them for forcing 5 turnovers. They do have an issue with Bateman and Cocker at quarterback right now. But for my stat sheet I wrote down, Bateman is a sophomore and Cocker is a senior. So I think they got to put Bateman in there, give him some experience for the future.
I'll tell you this. Ole Miss, Chad Kelly actually does have swag, as his raps indicate. They do have a good wide receiving core, and their defense is going to carry them. But you know what's going to happen. They're probably going to do what they did last year. Their line is not very good. Till Laramie Tunsil comes back, which might not happen this season, because the NCAA is looking at them. Alabama, let's talk about what they have. No wide receivers, no quarterback whatsoever. Oh, yeah, and their defense is way overhyped. Nick Saban,
as always,
your team is going to have 2 or 3 losses by the end of the year. So, who should be the Ohio State starting quarterback, guys?
At this point, you might have to go back to Braxton Miller. I am not going to lie. My goodness, JT Barrett, he hasn't looked too good, or Cordell Jones. So, I don't know. I might consider going back to Braxton.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that, Blaine. I'd probably go back to Braxton. It'd be fun to see him play again. Such a dynamic player. On the other hand, I was a Cardale Jones fan when he led that team to the championship last year. He just reminds me so much of Ben Roethlisberger. The big arm and the big build, hard to bring down. But if you play as bad as he did the other day with those 2 interceptions, he's going to get pulled. I trust Urban Meyer's decision on whatever he chooses.
No, I think he's completely lost it. I disagree with both of you guys. He should still just stick to his guns and keep the regular person and call it a day. Like, who cares? Someone made a mistake. I can't help it. Like, what do? You know?
I'd have to put it on. I think JT Barrett should be quarterback. The reason is JT Barrett won 11 games for this team last year. Yes, Cardale Jones did come in and did win the national championship for them. I will admit that. But what Cardale Jones lacks is true experience. He's turned the ball over a lot. Yes, he's a battering ram, but that's all he is. He has a strong arm, but he has the Jay Cutler problem. He isn't accurate. Keep Braxton Miller where he is. He's become a great H-back in this system, and he's become the second coming of what Percy Harvin was. So keep JT Barrett in there, who gives you a more athletic quarterback and is a mix of the 2 best quarterbacks Urban Meyer has ever had, Chris Leak and Tim Tebow. Now, we're going to go to Blaine City. The Philadelphia Eagles have issues, but what is the problem with the Eagles?
Oh my gosh, I can tell you right now, it is Sam Bradford. I cannot stand him. He is the tin man of all with his heart. He couldn't do it in Oklahoma. He looked stone cold. And then you just saw this past weekend. He couldn't do it. He choked. He can do it for a little bit. And if you give him that slight little inch and saying, hey, I don't know if it's sure, I don't know if I can bring it back, he chokes. End of story. He's the worst reason, and they need to pick it up and get someone else.
In my opinion, they got to give DeMarco Murray more carries. The first game, he had 8 rushes. Second game, he had 13 rushes. This is one of the best running backs in the leagues. You have to give him the ball more and take some pressure off Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford in the first game had 37 pass attempts, and last game had 52. That's too many passes for him. He's going to make mistakes when you drop back that many times.
I guess it's down to me. Truthfully, I'm searching for an answer for what's wrong with the Eagles. You can start with Byron Maxwell, but I'm actually not going to put everything on the defense because they've been playing pretty good for the past 2 games. It's all on the offense, and it's going to start up front with the offensive line. Chip Kelly, honestly, he's got rid of our 2 starting guards in Todd Hermans and Evan Mathis, and that's the issue. The 2 guards that we have in there right now, Gardner and Barbary, they just can't get it done. They're getting beat.
Blaine, I'll finish your point here. The problem is Chip Kelly is an awful GM. He got rid of 2 of the best guards in the NFL. In their center, oh yeah, he looked a lot better when they had 2 better guards. Now his mediocrity is showing through. DeMarco Murray has lacked in yards because their line cannot block. Jason Peters is a star in that line because he's always been a star. But besides for that, they lack. Sam Bradford can't throw because they haven't blocked for him. Yes, I agree he's choked at Oklahoma, but at least at Oklahoma, he had a line. Well, that'll do it here for the Sideline. Join me next week for all the coverage of Point Park sports, Pittsburgh sports, and national sports at the same Pioneer place, the same Pioneer time, of course, the same Pioneer Sideline.